Shri Krishna, Om Namah Shivaya. Wonder why this mark is on my forehead today? Because today I'm going to explain the biography of a very great person, very great personality who advented on this earth called Shri Kanchi Periyavavar. Shri Kanchi Periyavavar, and he was a very great personality, and my father's lineage follows him and that lineage. So here's a story of his. This great personality was born on 20th May 1894 in a town called Viyupuram, from the parents who were Sri Subramanya Shastri and Srimati Mahalakshmi, and he was born glowing with a radiance, and he was a very great person. And when he was born, the parents couldn't explain what they saw in their eyes. He was such a wonderful child with so much brilliance glowing around. And they finished all the procedures, and then the father once said, "Shall we name this child as Swaminathan, from the name Swaminathan of Swami Malai, our Lord Swaminathan of Swami Malai?" And the mother said, yes, sure, that's a very nice name. And then they named the child Swaminathan. And after a few days, the mother asked the father, saying, "Shall we take him to the astrologer?" Because because at that time all parents were very keen to know, especially these parents, because they could see a very great person in front of them. So they wanted to know desperately what was the future of this child. So the father said, yes, let's approach the astrologer, and right away let's go to him. And they went to the astrologer, and the astrologer was continuously seeing the same horoscope for some time. And the mother, out of curiosity, asked, "So why are you continuously seeing the same horoscope for lots of time? Is there anything special about it?" And the astrologer opened his mouth saying, "Yes, there's something very special about this. This child may look normal to you, but he is certainly a very great person. The whole world in the future will prostrate on his feet, and therefore he'll be a very, very great person. He'll be radiating with all knowledge, and he's destined to be a famous person." And the parents were very very happy hearing this, and that divine bliss of happiness emerged into them, having such a wonderful child. And after that, what happened was, he was very brilliant. So what happened was, after they named him, at the meanwhile, the 66th pontiff of the Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham wanted to perform his Chaturmasya Vratam. So he instructed his disciples, saying, "Make arrangements for me to perform the Chaturmasya Vratam." All the disciples said, "Yes, we shall do that, Acharya." And they started making arrangements, and the place chosen was Dindivanam. So Chaturmasya Vratam, if anybody wants any information about this, then you can search on the internet. But Chaturmasya Vratam is a Vratam in which 4 months only few things are supposed to be eaten, and travel must not be done, and austerities must be performed, and also the person who wants to perform this should go to a particular area, should travel out of his place before Chaturmasya, enter the place in Chaturmasya, and be there for 4 months practicing severe austerities. So this is what the 66 Acharya wanted to do. And Dindivanam was the same place where they were also living. Swaminathan and his parents. That's where they were living. So in Dindivanam, when he had come, immediately the father exclaimed, yes, the Acharya has come to our place, we have to go and see him. Swami has come to our place. So they had to immediately go, rush and see. And then he wanted to have the darshan. So then he went, and then his son asked, "Who is this Acharya? Why has he come to our place?" And then he said, "He is the great Acharya or Swami, and he's the 66th pontiff of the Matha. So therefore I am going to see his darshan." And then the child also said, "Even I want to." And he's on Chaturmasya is what the father said. And then he said, "What's the Chaturmasya?" And then the father explained the Chaturmasya, and both of them set out. He was very excited, but nobody knew that this was the step which would change history, and a new great person would come into the world to help everybody. So then what happened was, Kanchi Periyavar, Swaminathan, he went and then they had darshan, and the 66th pontiff saw him with a very merciful smile and blessed him. The child somehow got attracted to the matha, and he kept on visiting the matha. And after 4 months, when the Acharya left his place and went back to his original place, still in Kanchipuram, still he kept on coming to the matha. Even though his father did not get any leave, he used to come alone to the matha and meet the Swamiji. So he used to do this very often. So one day what happened was, the Swamiji got affected with a very bad illness, smallpox, and he knew that his and he also wanted to do samadhi, and he wanted to attain the supreme. So for this, what he was doing is he was making preparations, and he knew that he is going to attain the supreme. So for that, what he did was, he wanted to appoint another pontiff, and what he did was, he was thinking. So he knew that Swaminathan is somebody who is going to change the future of the matha, and he is going to bring lots of glory to the matha. So what he did was, he told Lakshmikanta, a closest disciple of his, to tell Sri Subramanya Shastri of what is going to happen, and to call both of them, father and son, to the place. But the thing was that before he had to arrive to the place, Swaminathan, it was too late. So the Kanchi Periyavar, that time Kanchi Periyavar, he told that Lakshmikanta, I give you sannyasa diksha, and in fast time before he attains moksha, he gave his entire position to Lakshmikanta. But it was so strange that even Lakshmikanta, after a few days, he also was feeling a very bad illness, and then he also transferred the position. So the 67th Acharya to the 68th Acharya. So he wanted to also transfer his position. So he told a concerned official about this, because they had to tell this, and then the official said, we shall do your bid. And then he said yes, and then he breathed his last, the 67th Acharya, and he was called Mahadevendra Swami, if I am correct. Yes, and he was called Mahadevendra Swamigal, and he gave the post to the next person. And this concerned official immediately sent letter to Swaminathan's family, and it reached, and since Sri Subramanya Shastri was not present in that place at this moment, it reached a letter to a friend of Sri Subramanya Shastri. So he read the letter, and he said that the Kanchi Matha wants you to be there at the moment, at the present moment. And the mother said yes, and then the friend was saying that if the Kanchi Matha is calling, it might not be for a not important purpose, it will always be for an important purpose. So please leave right now, the Swamiji might be waiting. And then they had to leave from there, and moment they reached the place, a person came and asked, is he Swaminathan? And then the parents said yes, the mother. And then they said, please come with us inside this cart and let us go to Kalavai, and then you alone must come to Kalavai. And then the mother said, okay, fine, may God take care of you. And the cart was moving, and you're saying Rama, Rama, Rama. Swaminathan was saying he did not know that this was the end of his family bondage, and he was reaching Kalavai, and Kalavai is a town close to Kanchipuram. So he was reaching Kanchipuram, and when he was about to reach Kanchipuram, he was continuously saying Rama, 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 Rama. Only that word was coming in his mouth. And just before this, he had completed, he had just began his Vedic education also. In his school also, he was a very great boy in school. He completed school in excellence, and also he did Vedic education. Like school little and Vedic little. And now he was being taken to the Matha. And the Matha premises, as ordered by the 67th Pontiff, Sri Mahadevendra Swamigal. He was brought in, taken a bath, and all the virtues were performed. All the rituals were performed, and then he was about to be consecrated as the 68th Pontiff, And after he was consecrated, he stood in a merciful position. He was just 13 when he was initiated and positioned as the 68th Acharya. Everybody showered flowers on him, and now he was the Acharya. But he had not completed his Vedic education, so he wanted to do his Vedic education. But the problem was that when he was in Kanchipuram, all people around that place were all continuously coming to him, and they were wanting to seek his darshan. But he could not do his studies. So then he said that I have to do my studies, and then he told a few people to arrange a place. And then they said Musiri is a very nice place for your studies, where the Kaveri river, the crystal clear Kaveri river flows. But unfortunately today, the same Musiri has dry and barren. So in that Musiri town, he had to study in a wonderful, quite beautiful village, and there they readied a place for him. It was a picturesque village. So they readied a place for him, and they readied teachers and everybody required to learn the Vedas and Shastras. And then there he learned many different kinds of texts of Tamil literature. He learned different kinds of Shiva's praises along with Vedas and Shastras, and also astrology, astronomy, Shadangas, every single thing he learned, and he was great. He was just, his full body was radiating with knowledge of the Supreme, the Parabrahmavada. And he studied all the texts that were prescribed for Vedic education, and he finally became the Periyavavar with his entire power. He did lots of penance, studies, and tolerance, austerity, every single thing, and he became a beautiful embodiment of the Supreme. And then what happened was, just like in an ocean, a little part, if you take, it has the same qualities of the ocean. In the same way, we are just small drops of the same ocean, but he might be a river of the ocean. He was so great. And then what happened was, at this time, when Kanchi Periyavavar was there, he had many different kinds, many occult things that had happened to him in his full history, and he had many divine powers with him. So he was very particular about Guru Bhakti too. So one day, one of his miracles is being cited now. One day what happened was, when he was reading the records of the Math, he found out that the 58th Acharya, or Swamin, or the pontiff of the Matha, his Adhishthanam, or his, what do you say, it would be little, not nice to use the word tomb, but the tomb of a very great Acharya, and his name was, Atmabodhendra. So his place, his Adhishthanam was not found by anybody. So then he asked his people that where is his Adhishthanam, and then they all were saying, we don't know about his Adhishthanam, we have no knowledge of this. And then he was saying it might be somewhere and we should find it, because he's our lineage, and he's the 10th Acharya. So then he said, yes, we have to find it now, but it says it's somewhere here. And then he didn't know the exact location. He just sat, contemplated for a long time, and he found it. He just got it, he started walking, his students followed him. He went to a banana field and he said there, dig this area. And they all started bringing crowbars and everything, and started digging the area, and suddenly a crowbar hit a metal structure. And there was the Atmabodhendra, Sri Atmabodhendra, Swamigal's tomb, or Adhishthanam. And finally, once they had come to the tomb, he removed it from there, renovated it, and made it fit for daily worship. And then what happened was, once this was over, how did he find out the exact location of it? Just with his contemplation. That means he was such a great person. This is only possible for seers, not ordinary people like us. Then another very great miracle that was done was, a car was traveling in which a family wanted to meet Sri Kanchi Periyavavar, and when the car was coming, they had to eat some food, some refreshments and everything. So they got out of the car, the family, and there was a small child also, and the child just ran out in the middle of the road, and the parents were getting very tense, and they were running behind the child, But just before this, a lorry came, hit the child severely, and went away even without stopping. And the child lay fallen there and bleeding in a critical condition. The horrified parents then took the child and took it to the hospital, and then in the hospital they said, the child is in a critical condition, pray to the Lord. I don't think we can do lots about it. And the parents were shocked. They ran to Kanchi Periyavavar. When doctors are not able to do something, a supreme doctor comes. That is Sri Kanchi Periyavavar. With his wonderful power of the Supreme Lord with him, he could be the supreme doctor. And then he said this. He took an apple, rolled it in his hands and said, go take this apple. And also offered to the Mother Divine, and she's called Kanchi Kamakoti Devi, or she's also called Kanchi Kamakshi Devi. So then he did that, and then he circumambulated the Devi, and then he took the apple and fed it to the child. The child ate the apple, and at that time the Mother Divine was dressed in green sari, and she ate the apple, and she just got it as if from sleep. How is that possible? It's a real thing. It's a miracle which was witnessed by many people. There is some occult or divine power. Sri Kanchi Periyavavar shows and gives a picture of this power. He is really great. The child just got it, and she asked his mother, Mother, can you please tell me with which child I was playing? Where is that child whom I was playing with? And the mother said, no other child came with us, it was only you. No, a child in the green skirt. And then the man who had gone to Kanchi Periyavavar, he suddenly realized that the green skirt girl was none other than the Mother Divine who had come playing with the child and cured the child of her disease. This is a very great story of Sri Kanchi Periyavavar. And then what happened was, he was reading in a map that a very great Devasthanam of Ananta Padmanabheshwara was present in the same place, in a street. And then they were searching for that. Where is it? But it was not there anywhere. So where was it? So they were walking on that street. They wanted to get the temple right. But even though they had seen this temple many times, even though they had read about this temple in the map, it was never seen on the street. Then he said, I want to find this temple, where it is. They walked through the street again and again, and out of intuition, the Periyavavar just looked at the map and saw a house and said, there were only residential buildings, there were no temple. And he said, this is the place, this might be the place. And then I want to talk to the owner. And then the owner came out, and then he said, he straight away went to the matter. And the owner said, I am blessed today to have your feet into my home. And then he said, he straight away went to the matter and said, do you consent to sell your house to the Matam? And then he said, no, I am very sorry for this, but because this is my only source of livelihood. And then he said, okay, whenever, he did not argue further, he just said, okay, whenever you want, whenever you wish, you can sell it. And then he said, yes, and then the topic was finished. Another day, the Acharya was simply sitting and meditating on the Supreme, when a boy started doing 10 times circumambulation of him. And for 10 days, many times he was circumambulating, but he didn't realize, and after 10 days he asked him, the Periyavavar asked him that, why are you circumambulating me? And then he said, my father told me to do so. And then he asked who is his father, and then the same owner of the house came there, and he said, go tell your father to come tomorrow morning. And he knew that that person is going to sell his home, and also for some other reason, because he had that divine intuition, and then it's called an occult power of intuition. And then what happened was, at the same time, he called an architect called Ganapati Sthapati, and then he was a traditional architect. So he called him and said, please come tomorrow. And then everything was arranged, and the person came the next day, and he said, my child is suffering from a problem. I need money for my child's surgery. I would love to sell you this home. And he sold it to the Matam, and all the premises of place were given by the great Acharya to him, and then he lived in the Matam. And next he said that nothing will happen to your child because you're giving your home for a good thing. And then they went into the home and he said, go wear wet clothes to Ganapati Sthapati and circumambulate Kamakshi Devi and go to the place and open this section of the map. Just break it open and see what's there. Shocked everybody was, because he just told it out of intuition. Open this place of the map. And then they went there, they got into the house. Ganapati Sthapati was shocked. The place where Kanchi Periyavar told to excavate was a septic tank. Would this be the place of the idol? But he could not ask the Periyavar once again and once again, because this was sheer intuition. And then they dug out the place, dug out. Suddenly a crowbar hit a metallic thing and the sound came bang. And he said, stop, do it slow. And then they digged even further. In the midst of slush was a huge idol of Lord Sri Vishnu. And this was very strange. And then the Kanchi Periyavar visited the place, and then he said that so actually what happened was the Ganapati Sthapati came to his home and said, dear Periyavar, the place was excavated and I'm shocked that the idol was found there. Please come there. No, he said, why do you need to come there? You can be here, we'll do all the things. And he said, when my creator has himself stood for so much time there, why shouldn't I come and just see his consecration? Then he came there, and then the consecration was being performed, and it was cleansed. It was all consecration and rituals performed. The idol was installed, and today also we find the temple in the same place. It is so great to see such a thing. And the next thing what happened was, one day a huge and this very great personality was also following Vaishnava Dharma as well as Shaiva Dharma, both ways. Just because wearing the vibhuti does not mean you are only belonging to one particular thing and you're stuck with that and you don't want to respect any other god. A great personality who came and advented showed people that one must not fight Shaiva and Vaishnava. So he was keen and interested in Vaishnava Dharma too, and even the Shaiva cult too. So one day the Ratha of Lord Varadaraja was not moving forward, and everybody was not able to move it. And knowing of this, the Periyavar rushed, even though he was performing his daily worship in the Matam, he rushed from there and he touched the rope. He just pulled it once with his own hands, and the whole chariot started moving. The wheels were stuck, it didn't move. And then everybody was saying, Jai Jai Shankara, Jai Varada, and this is unity of Hinduism. No fights within Shaiva and Vaishnava. The great seer, Sri Kanchi Periyavavar, is an example for everybody not to fight within the four beautiful petals of Hinduism. This Shakta, Smarta, Shaiva and Vaishnava, it was united in one part in Sri Kanchi Periyavavar. And then what happened was, one day he had to visit a temple in Rayapeta in Chennai, and when he came there, a group of atheists wanted to block his place. These atheists might be Satanists or anybody like that. They wanted to block his place, the road, and also show a black flag. So they wanted to do such things. And then they came. But when they were coming to block him, and then when they had made these plans, the disciples came and they said, yes, just a second. And the battery got exhausted, happily, by God's grace. So the next thing was that when the procession began, and he said, please, let's take another route. All the disciples said, let's take another route. But Sri Kanchi Periyavavar said, it's okay. God is there to protect us. Let's move in this route. And they were moving in the same route. That time what happened was, these atheists came blocking with their huge black flags and waving all of these things just to trouble him. But all they could see, and they came when they came to trouble, they could only see a flame, nothing else of Kanchi Periyavavar. They were shocked. What is this? Just a flame. We can't even stop him. We can't confront him. The flame was moving away, and they thought it was not Kanchi Periyavavar. So they let the procession pass. After that, and they were stuck with folded hands. Everybody was saying this. Even atheists were struck with folded hands. How is it possible? It is by the sheer grace of the Supreme and the divine power of Sri Kanchi Periyavavar. Then what happened was he used to conduct many concerts, music concerts on the Mother Divine, and in which very great musicians like M.S. Subbulakshmi also had participated. And also he used to meet very great people around the world and some evil people also, but nothing affected him. And he also had met Mahatma Gandhi. He was and he was also a social reformer. And then he had also made many schemes like this, that Veda Pathshalas, and he also had said that silk clothes should not be worn because they are from poor silkworms to be killed, so ahimsa should be followed. And then he also said that dowry should not be taken. Any marriage ceremony in which dowry is taken and the marriage initiation card should not say with the blessings of Kanchi Periyavavar. He declared this to all people, and therefore he made all the families change, reform in a better way. And then he also made one more thing, that every day before cooking, set aside a little rice. It was called the Pidi Arasi scheme. Set aside a little rice, and from this little rice you must give it to beggars and all the people who are starving of food. Many people like that are there. So give it to them is what he gave another sermon to the people. He used to also do the Annadana scheme, in which pure food was given to everybody. At that time there was no adulterated food as we have today. Maximum it could be some poison or something like that, but no adulterated food, iodized salt, etc. So Annadanam, Mahadanam was a great scheme that he also did. One more thing, and then Veda Pathshalas and schools were opened by him in different places, where all kinds of education were imparted to children. The next Matha Dipati was chosen as Subramanian or Sri Jayendra Saraswati, and the next person was Sri Jayendra Saraswati. And now again for Sri Jayendra Saraswati, there is the next person known as Sri Shankara Jayendra Saraswati. So on 8/1/1994, he got Samadhi, he attained Moksha, and he attained the Supreme. After going all around India, traveling extensively, preaching the word of the Supreme Brahman, and doing all of these great things, he attained Samadhi at the age of 100 years. So he lived for 100 years educating the entire public, and my salutations to that great soul. Jai Shri Krishna, Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, Om Namah Shivaya. I just forgot one thing more about this video, and that was that it's an appeal to all the modern seers that they should have some respect for the cow. Nowadays, the successors of the 68th great Sri Kanchi Periyavavar are all sitting in Benz vehicles and going, instead of walking on barefoot like a very great seer like Sri Kanchi Periyavavar. They are doing all kinds of atrocious activities. They are filed with cases, they are filed with all kinds of things, and they are behaving very bad. So we must change the modern day world by giving an appeal to these people and stop following them until they change their behaviors. Such gurus are not fit because they travel in Mercedes-Benz vehicles and did not restore the ancient towns and the beautiful places where the 68th Acharya lived. That is Musiri and also Kalavai and also Kanjipuram. In all these places they don't allow, there is not that holiness of the surroundings of the city. Might be the temple, but the surroundings of the city also need some holy way. Then what is happening is they are not giving that holy figure to the places around. Now the litter thrown here and there, every kind of dirty things are done here and there. So they must stop these things and try to restore the town, try to protect Sanatana Dharma, try to help it, not by just publishing books, by teaching people about the gospel of the Supreme. So that is my appeal to all of them, and they must just have compassion for the mother cow. That is a very important aspect. Sanatana Dharma is always protected by protecting the cows and the cattle, and this is the only way to get moksha, no other way. Cows are the sustaining roots of humanity. So, and one more thing, Mercedes-Benz, it has 7 cows leather in it, and in these kinds of cars, these great so-called pontiffs travel here and there. Just see the drastic change between the 18th century, 19th century and the 20th century. Here are people going in big cars, zooming around here and there. They're just going mad. They're just crazy. They're doing all kinds of crazy things. There are many more gurus, swamis, and people who have been caught with various cases. They're going around in Mercedes-Benz. How can they do that? It is not a guru who does such things. Only one who is very great and who does all correct things, who walks and lives as an acharya, as a guru, as a swami, as a sannyasin for his full life, is alone a great guru. That is the thing I would say. So thank you. Jai Shri Krishna. Om Namah Shivaya. Glory to Mother Kamakshi Devi. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Ram. Om Namah Shivaya.